Goku has always been the heart and soul of Dragon Ball. From his humble beginnings as a naive, monkey-tailed boy to the universe's most powerful warrior, Goku embodies the ideal of a hero. Brave, selfless, and relentlessly determined to protect his friends, family, and the Earth. On the surface, his actions appear to be heroic. He trains tirelessly to overcome threats, he defends the innocent, and he sacrifices himself when necessary. In the eyes of the world, and of most fans, Goku is the ultimate hero. However, beneath this facade of simplicity lies a more complex reality. Even at the earliest stages of Dragon Ball, hints of moral ambiguity appear in Goku's decisions. He is fascinated by fighting strong opponents, often putting his desire for battle above immediate safety or common sense. Spares enemies who have committed atrocities, often giving them second chances, sometimes with catastrophic consequences. He trusts in his own instincts and the potential of others, sometimes at the expense of those who depend on him. Goku's moral compass is unshakable, but it is guided by personal ethics rather than societal norms. He measures right and wrong by courage, potential, and the fairness of a fight, rather than by strict notions of justice or duty. This lens creates tension in his heroism. The choices that make him admirable also make him reckless. By idealizing strength, mercy, and fairness, Goku sometimes endangers the very people he seeks to protect. It is this duality that begins to define the dark side of Dragon Ball's heroism. Goku's virtue is inseparable from his flaws. He is selfless, yet often selfish in the pursuit of combat. He is pure-hearted, yet blind to consequences. And it is precisely this complexity that makes him one of the most compelling and morally intriguing protagonists in all of anime. Goku's heroism is often celebrated, but many of his most defining moments also highlight a surprising selfishness. Unlike traditional heroes who act purely out of duty or morality, Goku frequently prioritizes the thrill of the fight, his own growth, and the opportunity to test his limits, sometimes above the safety of others. This tension is a recurring theme in Dragon Ball and is a central element of the series' moral complexity. One of the clearest examples occurs during the Cell games. When Goku faces Cell, he has the power to end the threat immediately, yet he chooses to step aside and allow Gohan to fight. While this decision is framed as faith in Gohan's potential, it is also rooted in Goku's desire to see a truly challenging fight unfold. The gamble puts countless lives at risk, not just his family, but the entire Earth. This is heroism, yes, but it is also selfish. Prioritizing personal satisfaction and the thrill of witnessing strength over immediate safety. Another moment comes during the Majin Buu saga, where Goku's choices again reflect this duality. He delays confronting Buu at times, allowing situations to unfold in ways that endanger civilians. His excitement to test new abilities and face stronger opponents often conflicts with the responsibility of protecting others. Even when his intentions are noble, the consequences of inaction or delayed action highlight the dark edge of his heroism. The Tournament of Power further amplifies this theme. Goku repeatedly pushes himself and others to their limits, often disregarding potential casualties. While the tournament itself is voluntary and framed as a test of skill and courage, Goku's relentless pursuit of battle demonstrates a prioritization of personal and collective glory over caution. He encourages risk-taking and often trusts in the potential of fighters to overcome near-impossible odds. Again, a blend of inspiration and recklessness. These instances reveal a pattern. Goku's heroism is inseparable from his ego and his love of combat. He often acts with noble intentions, but the execution can verge on selfishness. By chasing powerful opponents, delaying crucial actions, or gambling the lives of others on personal ideals, Goku's decisions blur the line between heroism and recklessness. This tension is what makes Goku compelling. Unlike heroes with clear, unambiguous moral codes, Goku's choices invite debate. Is he a flawless protector, or a hero whose fascination with battle sometimes puts the world at risk? Dragon Ball doesn't shy away from this ambiguity. It leans into it, creating a hero who is admirable, frustrating, and morally complex all at once. One of the most defining traits of Goku's heroism is his willingness to show mercy, even to the most dangerous of enemies. While this characteristic underscores his idealism and compassion, it frequently comes with high stakes and unintended consequences. Goku's mercy, while noble in intent, often extends the threats he faces, putting countless lives at risk. A prime example is Vegeta. After their first battle on Earth, Goku could have ended Vegeta immediately. Instead, he allows Vegeta to escape, believing that a worthy opponent deserves a fair chance. This act of mercy indirectly leads to the Namek saga, where Vegeta's ongoing survival contributes to countless deaths, both on Earth and across the galaxy. By sparing Vegeta, Goku sets in motion a chain of events that proves the double-edged nature of his decisions. The Frieza saga offers a similar case. Goku defeats Frieza on Namek, yet initially allows him to survive, ignoring the consequences of Frieza's destructive tendencies. Frieza's survival leads to further violence and devastation on other planets. Showing that mercy, when paired with trust in an inherently malicious being, can have catastrophic results. Goku's choices demonstrate that even the purest intentions can have morally complex outcomes. Another striking example is Kid Buu, the original and most dangerous form of Majin Buu. Goku hesitates during the final battle, attempting to reason with him and prolonging the conflict for the sake of the ultimate battle. While Goku eventually defeats Kid Buu, his reluctance to act decisively earlier prolongs the suffering of innocents, emphasizing that heroism driven by personal ideals can inadvertently amplify risk. Even in Dragon Ball Super, this pattern persists. During the Tournament of Power, Goku repeatedly shows mercy to opponents, often giving them second chances or encouraging them to continue fighting despite exhaustion. These decisions, while inspiring, could have easily led to the universe's destruction had circumstances slightly shifted. Goku's mercy is consistent, but it comes at a cost, highlighting the moral ambiguity underlying his heroic persona. Ultimately, Goku's choice to spare enemies is a double-edged sword, reflects his belief in potential, fairness, and growth, and it also demonstrates a willingness to gamble the safety of others for ideals and personal philosophy. This tension between noble intent and tangible risk defines the dark side of Dragon Ball's heroism. Goku's heroism is not simply about defeating evil. It is about balancing moral ideals against real-world consequences, often imperfectly. Goku's heroism is guided by an unwavering sense of right and wrong, yet this clarity often comes with significant blind spots. His childlike simplicity and obsession with growth can make him blind to consequences, collateral damage, and the emotional weight of his actions. These moral blind spots are a central part of the dark side of Dragon Ball's heroism. One of the most notable examples occurs during the Cell games. Goku's decision to let Gohan face Cell alone stems from his belief in fairness and potential, but it neglects the immense psychological burden placed on his son. Gohan, a child at the time, must confront an enemy capable of annihilating the Earth, while the plan succeeds. Goku's moral oversight raises a critical question. Does heroism justify imposing extreme risk on others, even those you trust? Similarly, Goku's interactions with villains reveal another blind spot. He often assumes that sparing an enemy or trusting in their potential will lead to growth or redemption. However, this assumption ignores the possibility that the villain may exploit mercy for destruction, as seen with Vegeta, Frieza, and even Cell to some extent. Goku's judgment prioritizes personal ideals over pragmatic considerations, a pattern that can be both inspiring and dangerous. Goku's moral blind spots also extend to his broader responsibilities. In Dragon Ball Super, he frequently puts the safety of the universe in jeopardy for the thrill of combat, or the chance to surpass his limits. While these decisions often have heroic outcomes, they reveal a recurring flaw. Goku values the journey and personal growth of himself and others, sometimes more than immediate safety. This creates tension between heroic intent and real-world consequences. Moreover, his blind spots are deeply intertwined with his personality. Goku's optimistic, trusting, and focused on potential, but this can blind him to the pain, fear, and suffering that his decisions create for those around him. Allies and family often bear the brunt of his choices, highlighting the unintended consequences of his idealism. These blind spots demonstrate that Goku's heroism is not absolute. It is defined by a tension between virtue and oversight, intention and consequence. His moral clarity coexists with gaps in judgment, making him a hero who is deeply human and morally complex. The dark side of heroism, therefore, is not about villainy, but about the nuanced reality that even noble actions can carry hidden risks. Goku's moral ambiguity is deeply connected to his identity as a Saiyan. Unlike traditional heroes whose ethics are guided by societal rules or a clear sense of justice, Goku's decisions are filtered through the lens of a warrior culture obsessed with strength, combat, and personal growth. The Saiyan ethos amplifies both his heroism and its dark side, creating a unique moral tension. Saiyans by nature thrive on battle and personal advancement. Goku embodies this perfectly. His pursuit of ever stronger opponents is instinctual and relentless. Yet unlike most Saiyans, Goku channels this drive toward protecting others, not mere conquest. This duality is at the heart of the ethical complexity in Dragon Ball. He seeks challenge and growth, but in doing so, he sometimes risks lives, tests others beyond their limits, and defers immediate safety for potential long-term gains. The ethical questions become pronounced when Goku's desire for combat intersects with real danger, allowing villains to survive, delaying decisive action, or gambling on another fighter's potential, all highlight the tension between warrior ethics and moral responsibility. In the Saiyan framework, testing strength and honoring fair combat are virtues. In the human framework, these same actions can appear reckless or selfish. Goku constantly straddles this line, balancing the pride and curiosity of a Saiyan with the values of a protector and hero. Moreover, Goku's interactions with allies and rivals illustrate the ethical tightrope he walks. With Vegeta, Frieza, and even Cell, Goku's decisions are often driven by respect for strength and potential, rather than purely moral judgment. This respect sometimes conflicts with the safety of innocence, showing how his warrior mentality can complicate heroism. The ethics of being a Saiyan, valuing challenge, growth, and combat, sometimes clashes with the responsibilities of being a protector, creating the moral gray zone central to Dragon Ball's storytelling. Even in Dragon Ball Super, this duality persists. The Tournament of Power, while ostensibly a contest, forces Goku to make decisions that balance his Saiyan desire for challenge with the practical need to protect his universe. His ethics remain consistent. He honors strength, trusts in others, and seeks to push limits. Yet these choices are fraught with risk, highlighting that heroism in Dragon Ball is never simple. Ultimately, the ethics of the Saiyan warrior are inseparable from Goku's character, explain both his inspirational feats and his morally ambiguous choices. By blending innate warrior instincts with the responsibilities of a hero, Goku embodies a kind of morally complex heroism rarely seen in shonen anime, one that inspires admiration. While constantly challenging conventional definitions of right and wrong, Goku's journey across Dragon Ball is more than a story of power levels and epic battles. It is a narrative rich with ethical lessons and moral complexity. His decisions, both heroic and flawed, offer insights into responsibility, consequences, and the nuanced nature of heroism. It also demonstrates the inherent risk of assuming the best in others. Goku's morality is aspirational, but it is not foolproof. Even the most noble intentions can have unintended consequences. Another lesson lies in the cost of inaction or delayed action. Goku frequently delays defeating enemies or intervening decisively, believing in fair fights or the potential for growth. While these choices underscore his ethical principles, they often increase danger for those around him. The Cell games and Majin Buu saga exemplify how heroism is not just about the decision to act, but also about timing and accountability. Even the purest intentions require careful consideration of consequences. Goku also teaches us about the complexity of moral decisions in high-stakes scenarios. In Dragon Ball, heroism is rarely black and white. Saving an enemy, trusting a rival, or prioritizing potential growth over immediate safety can all be heroic, yet morally ambiguous. This complexity mirrors real-world ethical dilemmas. The right choice may not always be the safest or the most pragmatic. Goku embodies the struggle of making morally informed decisions under extreme pressure. Finally, Goku's choices highlight the interplay between individual ideals and collective responsibility. His heroism is inseparable from his Saiyan instincts and love of combat, yet it is also guided by a sense of duty to protect the Earth and his friends. This duality underscores the tension between personal desires and moral obligations, a tension that defines much of the series' dramatic and ethical depth. In essence, Goku's story encourages viewers to consider that heroism is complex, morally nuanced, and often involves risk. Good intentions alone are not enough. Understanding consequences, exercising judgment, and balancing ideals with pragmatism are equally essential. Dragon Ball frames these lessons through the lens of epic battles and fantastical powers. But at its core, it is a meditation on the responsibilities of those gifted with extraordinary abilities. Dragon Ball presents heroism in a way rarely explored and shown in anime, as a spectrum rather than a binary. Goku, the franchise's emblematic hero, embodies both the light and dark sides of heroic action. His courage, selflessness, and unyielding spirit inspire millions. Yet his decisions often carry hidden costs and moral ambiguity. The dark side of Dragon Ball's heroism lies not in malevolence, but in consequence. Goku's choices spanning from sparing dangerous enemies to delaying critical action reveal that even the most virtuous intentions can yield peril. By examining these decisions, it becomes clear that heroism is not synonymous with infallibility. His actions demonstrate that heroism involves both selflessness and risk, courage and judgment, growth and restraint. The cost of his choices: physical danger, psychological strain on allies, and extended conflict reminds audiences that heroism is rarely simple or consequence-free. Moreover, Goku's journey underscores the role of perspective in judging morality. What may appear reckless or selfish in one moment can simultaneously be courageous and aspirational in another. This complexity adds depth to his character and keeps viewers engaged, constantly questioning the nature of good, responsibility, and leadership in extreme circumstances. In the end, the dark side of Dragon Ball's heroism is inseparable from its brilliance. By blending courage with moral ambiguity, responsibility with risk, and power with imperfection, the series crafts a narrative where heroism is both inspiring and cautionary. Goku's legacy is not just about defeating villains or attaining new forms, it is about showing that even the purest heroes navigate a world of gray, and that the path to true heroism is complicated, flawed, and profoundly human. Dragon Ball invites its audience to reflect. Heroism is admirable, but it carries responsibility, risk, and ethical complexity. Through Goku, we see that even the greatest heroes are not flawless, and it is precisely this imperfection that makes their story compelling, relatable, and enduring.